We are.
Hello.
We are. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Are we live? Is it happening right
We
now?
are live.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to you, Rexson. Welcome to you, Michael. Is everyone going to welcome me? Thank you.
Chanella. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Where should I look into one of these? This one here. Welcome. Welcome to you. Welcome to you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chanella. I'm Chanella Macri. This is Rexson Pelman.
Oh, yeah.
This is Michael Longall. And we're here to talk to you tonight about Pasifika Voices in the Arts, and specifically our show, Western Edge's new show that's coming in November, Lele. It's beautiful. Lele in Samoan means to fly, which is why Michael was doing, yeah. Before we begin in true Western Edge style, and because it is absolutely what we do all across the nation here, we'd like to acknowledge the lands that we're meeting you guys on, you folks on. We'd like to acknowledge that we're calling in, videoing in, meeting you all virtually on the lands of the Wurundjeri and Bunurong people of the Kulin Nations, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We'd like to acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded, and no treaty has ever been reached, and so this is stolen land. We would like to acknowledge our privilege as brown settlers to be on this land. And as a daughter of Samoa, and as a brown immigrant, we pay our respects to those elders past, present and emerging. Thank you for joining us, wherever you and your mob are from. Welcome. We're just going to have a chat tonight. What's the time? 6? It's 6. It's definitely 6. Sorry if you hear any trains. We're in our Western Edge office in... No, we're not in Footscray.
It's in Newport.
We're in Newport.
Yeah.
We're in Newport.
Yeah, they're from North Side.
But there are a lot of trains that are going past. You might not hear them. We can hear them. Let's introduce ourselves so you know who you're talking with tonight. I'm Chanella Macri. I am the co-artistic director of Western Edge alongside John Mark Desengano and Stephen Nicolazzo. And I am 1/3 of the creative team, this being the other thirds, that 1-3 from the 1-3 district, if you will, that have readapted Lele from Lele Butterfly, which is an adaptation of Antigone. I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a theatre maker, and I'm an educator. Is that it? That's all the ones I usually say. And I'm half Samoan on my mother's side. It's beautiful. Thank you. Half Italian on my father's side, and I'm very privileged to be with these boys talking tonight. For you.
For me.
For
For
you.
me. Hey, my name is Rexson.
Hello, Rexson Pelman.
Hello. Welcome to myself.
Welcome to you.
Pronouns are he, him. So my roles for this year in Western Edge was being a lead artist. Yeah. Where we got to educate kids and all that stuff. But for this specific project, I will be an actor amongst these two, and also be the sound designer.
Yes.
Creating sound for our piece together. And
And we're co-directing it.
and we're co-directing it.
That's
There
a
we go.
decision we made
Yeah,
recently.
there you go. See, found that on the spot. but yeah, no. So yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, no. I just find it the privilege to just to acknowledge ourselves as individuals, and just talk about us and talk about our experiences, sharing our skills together, and putting some magic on the floor and getting people involved. Yeah.
What kind of artist are you, Rexson Pelman?
What kind of artist? That's a very funny question.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, I'm an actor, and sometimes I write, and other times I dance. No, I don't dance. But like, what is your love, your passion, your specialty in the arts?
I would say, I was always an entertainer. Yeah, throughout the years, just doing like different stuff, like so many things to the point where my wife was telling me just pick one, and choose one.
Finna says that's enough.
No, so I've been I introduced myself to. Introduced myself. I got introduced to the arts. First it was just through music, just through listening to music, and then writing poetry. So I used to rap a lot, and then that led to theater, because theater you could do anything. True. And so I ended up being an actor, and then I liked what was happening behind the stage. So like being sound designer, I thought I could do with that, and now it's like all three in one. I tried wrestling for a bit. That's a form of art.
Tried.
Okay. I did wrestling for a bit. But yeah, no, and
Rexson's an amazing wrestler.
Oh yeah, I'm alright.
He's
Raw
pretty
beef,
cool.
baby.
Raw beef. Raw beef.
Shout out to Crazy. But predominantly now, at this age of where I'm at, sound and music seems to be where it's at for me. So like, I haven't acted in a while. So coming back to the acting.
When's the last time you acted?
I don't remember. When's the last time I acted? Was it Lele?
There's no way.
Maybe 2018. Yeah, I think 2018 Lele Butterfly.
We'll talk about this in a bit, but there was an original production of Lele Butterfly in 2018. And if that's the last time you acted, I'll
and I
be
loved
surprised.
It. No, don't get me wrong. I loved it. Yeah, when the opportunity gets given to me, I give it a try. I never say no. Yeah, that's how I get all these gigs. But get the chance to perform again and just act someone else. It's gonna be great. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. But but for me, predominantly, it's gonna be music and sound. But who knows? This acting thing might just take off somewhere. So take it as it comes. You know what I mean?
Pick one. Pick one. Voice of Finna. Hello, Finna, if you're watching. Sorry, my wife. Miguel.
Hello, it is my turn.
Hello, your turn.
Welcome to me.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel welcome now. Hello, what's up? My name is Michael Longo. I am actor by trade. I am 1/3 of the creative group of Lele Butterfly here. And one third.
This one's one.
Yeah,
this
one.
one Camilo.
One.
Sorry.
And I'm 1/6 of the Sub30. Shout out Sub30. Sub 30. So and I work as a sport artist here at Western Edge. Yeah, that's me.
Yes. When's the last time you acted? Oh, he said as an actor by trade, which sounds like it's the first half of a sentence that never ended.
How often do you act? How often? What's that mean? Actor by trade. Like, what's that mean? What's your schedule look like?
What's your schedule look like? Can I have a peek inside your diary?
No.
Secrets.
That's for me.
Not that diary.
This is my secret diary. What does it mean to be an actor? I don't know. A thespian.
What does it look like to you? What does it look like to you?
What does it look like to me?
Yeah.
Well, someone told me, it's like, if you make money out of it, then you're pretty much it. So it's like, if you make money as an actor, from acting, then you're an actor. So I guess I'm an actor.
I feel like it's very... You know what I feel like? I was talking about this a little while ago. Almost 2 weeks ago. And I feel like that's a real Brown thing. It's like if we make money, then we will call ourselves that. Yeah. But all these like white kids running around being like, I'm an actor. Yeah. I was born for the stage. And like, show me the receipts. Show me your paychecks. I want to see.
It's funny that I'm an actor for like 2 months that I'm on the job. But then for the other 4 months that I'm I don't think I'm an actor anymore, man. I think I lost my actor title, man.
Call me by my name, unemployed.
It's such a like I don't know. I would say it's like an islander thing, you know. Once your parents see the green, that means go. It's go.
You're a disgrace until you bring home the
made it,
green.
my son.
You
You made it.
Remember the acting lessons I took you to when you were 5 years old?
I always knew from a young age that you would grow to be a...
2 years previous.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing with your life? Why don't you go get a real job?
Big shame upon the families.
Until you get that paycheck, and they're like, "That's my son."
My son. They say it to me, and I'm their daughter. My son. I forgot to mention, Rexson, thank you. My pronouns are she, her. Michael, your pronouns?
He, him.
Is that all? Is that us introduced?
I think it knows by now. I think.
If you don't know me by now, you will never, ever, ever, never. This is the show. Cancel, it's done. Very good then. So, we are talking about what it's like to be Pacific Islanders, to be from the Pacific community in Australia, in the arts. And like I said, we're also talking about our show that is in live. It's the live. Take it again. We're talking about the show that we're developing and we'll be putting up in November at the Bowery in St. Albans, Lele. So let's talk a little bit about Lele. It begun in 2018, so many moons ago now, but it is genuinely did begin in 2018. But I wasn't there. That was before my time at Western Edge, a whole year before my time. So I'm going to throw to these gentlemen to talk about what it was called then, Lele Butterfly, to talk about the original production, how it started, what it was all about. They were both in it, what it was like, what food you ate on the day. The food.
Sausages, yeah. They actually cook sausages, and there wasn't enough.
I am actually going to give you this mic just for now. They told me not to do this. Michael told me not to do this, not anybody. But can you take this?
Take them.
Love you.
That was
So Lele Butterfly back in 2018. Before it was Lele Butterfly, we were working. The director back then, he gave us the stimulus of Antigone, and there was a few community projects running at the same time, and we all got given the same stimulus of Antigone, right? They all had their great adaptations, and I think for us, Michael and myself, we just wanted to do something a little different, just because, if you've got 5 groups using the same stimulus, you just want to sort of stand out. And so, we began, as people came in, we were we're just trying to figure out what we could do with this material. And it just so happened that we had a lot of Samoan actors in the room, right? We had Yone and Sina and Michael and myself.
So this is the Edge Ensemble in 2018, yeah? Footscray. So that's a program that Western Edge runs and was running, in which essentially you've got our lead and support artists go into the community, and it's an open access, it's a free program every week for one night. Anybody from the community can come in, young people from age, I think it's, 14 to 25?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And so the stimulus for this program, for this show, was Antigone. That's what it seems to be, was across the board. Rex, what was your
my role?
Yeah, your role.
My role back then was actually support artist, and Penny was the lead artist of that. Yeah,
she's our executive director and CEO.
That's right.
And Michael, you were.
I was a participant.
My goodness.
With a dream.
What was that dream, boy?
To take the stage.
Yes! Get out of the frame!
And when I
Let him speak! Let him be heard!
And when I came to the stage, I was a participant. I had been with the company for 2-3 years by then. Yeah. And then I finally decided to bring my cousins, which is young and singer, to the company. So it was me, Rex, youngest singer, Vanessa, and Finn, and Marcy. So that was our crew at Footscray. And yeah,
that's great. Oh, I had a question to ask. I barked and I forgot it completely.
No. So
I'm sorry, Rex.
Go.
Yeah, so
You cut me off.
no,
You
I
cut
got
me off.
cut me off. You know what's amazing? Because I made so much of big noise, I forgot it again. I'm gonna let you speak. I'm gonna let you speak though.
But Beyonce.
But Beyonce, you're the best. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce. Sorry, forgive me. Feel poco.
You got it.
Me.
You got the question? No. Cool. Great. Look, I'm just gonna speak about it. So like, yeah, we came up. We had the Antigone as our stimulus, and like we had this idea of I think Penny came up with this idea of like because we're trying to come up with a title of the whole thing, yeah, and she had this idea of like the butterfly effect, how one thing affects everything, and that really resonated with all of us, the butterfly, but we couldn't call it the butterfly because the butterflies is because the show is pretty gruesome. It is pretty. Someone dies,
Bakalango.
All you Samoans out there. And so that's when the Samoan heritage came through with all these guys, and I was just like, how about call it Lele, butterfly? And what does Lele mean?
Fly.
Yeah, so we called it like fly, butterfly, fly. Oh no, sorry, fly, butterfly. That was it. Yeah. Yeah, so that's how the title came along, and then and it was very special. It was very special. I think it's because I think it was the first time we had like islanders in one group. Like standing together. Like this is the first performance where like a lot of islanders have come together in Western Edge. And we've actually made it. Like with Samoan culture, we actually put it in there,
Yeah, because like early on we were talking and stuff. We were in discussions, and a lot of the stuff that came up was culture. Like it wasn't just our culture, but like everyone's culture in the room, and like not knowing loss of identity in that, and figuring out where you stand in a world that works against culture and your culture and that. And it was like, like most of us were Samoan, so and Antigone has like real strong themes. Someone capare the train, so I can. Anyways,
that's the train. So I let the train pass.
Yeah. Moment of silence for the train.
Fuck.
Yeah, and then like cause, it was real tense in Samoa at the time as well. I can't remember. Yeah, I think that was like right at the beginning of the like.
Is that the president? No.
Yeah, like the scam.
Was it the president?
Yeah,
the president. Yeah.
Like the fast. The fast wasn't a thing yet, but like things were coming out about HSBC. Yeah. And it was a real tense time in Samoa. I remember coming to one session, I was like, I'm scared. Like people might die over there. There might be a civil war or something. And it would just really was relevant to the text.
Yeah.
To like, because there's two, before Antigone even starts, there's two brothers who their father has just died, and they're left with this land, and the father had left it with them to like saying one would rule 1 year, and then the next son would rule another year, and then so forth and so on. But then one guy didn't like that and tried to take over. It was like went to a warring nation and came back with the army and tried to take it over by force. And the other brother stood with them and did that. And then there was one quote that was like, it's like they killed each other with their bare hands. And I was like, that was real strong for me. I was like, yeah, I want to show that. And I was like, there needs to be a fight, and there needs to be kill each other with the bare hands. And I think that's one of the first things we did.
Yeah, that was the very first thing.
The fight scene.
Very first scene. I mean, you bashed each other.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that was honestly by far my favorite scene that I've ever made or performed in, because it was like, yeah, it was everything I dreamed of since I was a little boy. Every day of my life.
Yeah.
Nah, but yeah, bro.
You picture wrestling on the grass.
Yeah.
That was us.
It was so cool.
It was good.
Like, it was real. It was raw, man. I loved it. And like that was just the beginning.
That's right.
That's what set off the rest of the play, and it was just crazy. And if you know Antigone, it gets even worse.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The twists and turns of all of that, and on top of that, domestic violence and within family as well. Just the first thing is like brother versus brother. And then I wanted in a father, like just how much impact one choice can lead to another. Hence the butterfly effect.
So talk to us a little bit about your original roles. So I know, as in the actual show, because if you both acted in it, who you played, this beginning fight sequence, that.
So I'll just start off to say, because I was a support artist. I didn't want to be in it. Yeah, I didn't want to, just because I was a support artist, supposed to watch the show, right? But then Marco was saying you have to play something. You have to play. I have to play something because I invested so much time, and with Western Edge, we always juggle roles. We always juggle roles. So I was a support artist. I felt like a participant, and I also felt like a leader. Because I did end up making tracks for it. Yeah, I did end up making. Yeah, I did. I made tracks for the show. Yeah, I made the rap for it too. Like at the end, it's messed up, but so in terms of actually casting who I was, I actually wanted him to be Creon, but you wanted me to be Creon. Yeah. So I think because I was stepping in as Creon, so it just stuck with me. But it fit.
Look at his crown, mate. He's a king. He's a king.
And Creon is.
Creon is the father of Haman, who is oh my gosh, I need a refresher. Help me, Michael.
Creon is the son, the father of Haman, husband of Heracles,
yes.
and son of Perseus. But in the original, or like?
I think in
yeah.
So Creon was like the Sa'o of the Ainga. So he's the most Makai, and yeah, but I don't think we did it like that back in 2018. I don't think we embedded as much Samoan culture as we did. No, we did.
Did we?
Yeah, we made it clear that you were the Sa'o.
Oh, okay.
And that's why your word is law.
Yeah. I think it was more. I think it was just more. I think within the script, more than I think because I just remember what I was wearing wasn't really.
Yeah.
It was very shiny.
yeah.
Wasn't really Samoan, and I think I just think back to that. But no, you're right. You're right. Just to get that hierarchy thing going on. Yeah.
Because in the original text, the decree is that Polynices, the one who betrayed the kingdom, is to be left there unburied for the birds and beasts to eat. And looking at Samoan culture, usually traditionally Samoa is whatever the Sa'o says goes. So it doesn't matter what everyone else thinks is wrong or something, you have to follow it, sort of thing. Yeah. And I this was the extreme it would go to. It's like what would happen if, because Polynices was the gangster son and Heracles was the son that everyone wants. So it's bury Heracles, but we're not gonna. It's Polynices becomes a John Doe, and is left unclaimed.
Yeah.
And it's like that was the decree from the start.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's like no one's to when the police come, we don't know that boy. We don't claim that boy. He's not one of us.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And then the climax, the issue is that so Haman's wife is actually Antigone, you know, who's sort of, you know, outside of this family, but she sort of wants input into what the Sa'o has already said, you know, has already laid down the rules of what should go on, you know, like Michael said, you know, whatever he says goes, right? But, you know, she's very fiery and very, you know, she just refuses to accept. Yeah. Refuses to accept what's going on.
Because, like, it's like, if you don't agree, there's ways to do it. You know what I mean? To ask, it's like, please reconsider, But she just goes and few buckles and buries him without going through the processes and that. And it's I guess the journey that the family goes on, trying to navigate through what everyone thinks is right and what society says is right and what culturally is right and should happen and stuff like that. I think that was something real close. It was like,
oh my heart,
oh my salmon hearts.
For everybody who doesn't know, what does the term Fiopoko mean?
Is it?
You know?
You talk
Amarachi. Fiopoko means you think you know it, eh?
Yeah.
You think you know it, man, when you don't. So if you do something that you're not supposed to do and you think you're right, you'll Fiopoko. So listen to your parents.
break down the words like Fiopoko is like wanna be smart. Yeah. You're not actually smart. You're trying to be smart. Fiopoko. And that was a Samoan lesson from 101 Samoan.
I think, you know, Samoan culture is one that has, like, a lot of cultures around the world, really strict ways that things are meant to be done, you know? And that's for a whole lot of reasons, like to preserve culture and identity, to do things the right way, and that's in Samoan culture we call it the Ras-Samuel, like the Samoan way, the way things need to be done. And you have these leaders like the Sa'o and like the Whaiwhaiaos, please excuse my pronunciation, who guide you in that, who are meant to be leaders to be able to shepherd the people and guide the people in knowing, you know, the Ras-Samuel, the way of being. And so you got the Fiopoko who maybe thinks they know better.
It's what's right in Western society. Is like you can't leave that person unburied. But like it's morally also correct. You know what I mean? Like it depends who you ask.
I think that's you know the my face. Give me my face. So I think the gents are talking about what the crux of Lele, the butterfly, and Lele still is about, which is about this decree that the king makes, that the head of the family makes. He says, in our rendition, they're his sons that have killed each other. He says, one of my sons is to be honoured. He has done the right thing. This other son was already disowned. He is still disowned by me. He has killed his brother. He is a coward. He is not mine. And he will be left this way. And so the whole play is about, like Rex is saying, the butterfly effect of that. What happens when the family hear that and have to take that on? What happens when Antigone, who is... So Creon has two sons, they kill each other, and then he has, in our rendition, two other sons. Haman, who Michael plays and played in the 2018 The Butterfly. And in our rendition, Perseus is the youngest son. Haman's fiancée, Antigone, disagrees and goes and buries the body. And it's one of the things I find most interesting about that, by the way, speaking of Fiopokos, I have something to say. No, I think one of the most interesting things, because I was brought in beginning of 2021. No, just last year for our 20.
The watching? Didn't you do the watching?
I was brought into Western Edge in 2019.
Okay.
I was brought onto Lele last year in 2021. And so, yeah, I wasn't in the company when Lele Butterfly was made, and Penny, who was the lead artist, and I guess the director, was she directing? Or were you guys all... Tell me more about that.
Oh, the first one.
The Lele Butterfly.
Yeah.
A lot of script changes.
Script changes.
No, because she came. Oh, there's one night, because like, speaking of your vocals, there was one night.
I love you, Penny!
Love you, Penny, but
I love you!
She came and she went on Google Translate and tried to translate the English into Samoan. I was like, Penny, so if you want Samoan in the play, ask Samoans. Don't go and via Boko to Samoa under Google to translate. And it was like, I'm so sorry. It's like, it's so good, so good.
You made that sound so casual. You made that sound so casual, you know, like.
I rocked up. I was like, what is this? It was like, I decided to translate it. It was like, if you want us, bro, there's Samoans here.
Ika mean, as you can see from Michael's countenance, Ika means he's upset. He's angry, brother.
So there's a tip, you know, if you're
people of culture in the room who can speak the culture, let them translate it. Don't fear Boko and come do it yourself.
I think it's actually something I find I've been told this story. I was told this story many times from many different sources. I find it one of the most interesting things just talking about being like brown people in the arts and working with people who don't know the culture, who are white or things like that, and where like really good intentions can go really awry. Like, you know, you have, someone was working on a Penny, you know, translating it, being like, I don't want to put this label on to...
Love you, Penny.
We do love you.
Peace, love, and Penny.
But yeah, being like, I don't want to put this label onto you, let me try to do something. And, you know, and it being perhaps not the best thing to do at the time. But I think it's like, it's really complex being like working in... cultural spaces and working with really complex things. And even like, you know, we talked a lot about this in development, and we talk about this a lot all the time. Also, we talk about it personally, just as friends, as mates, the three of us. Yeah. But like, I'm half Samoan, but I didn't grow up in the far Samoa. I don't speak Samoan. And so there are a lot of things that I stumble across that I don't know and that I do wrong. And it's a very interesting and complex thing when you're navigating with something like the far Samoa, which is so sacred and traditional
and specific
to know, you know, what the right thing is to do. I find that very tricky working on that.
Yeah, and I think it's credit to us, you know, credit to us to even like dive into there, because like, you know, me myself, I'm Australian born Samoan. I was born in Sunshine, you know, and I'm local as. But no, as
I was
a
born
person,
in Blacktown.
My dad's half German, and my mum's Samoan. But yeah, they came to Australia to live, not really to teach the kids Samoan, you know. So like, you know, they came here to survive, and you know, and do all the survival things that you need to do, and so. You know, speaking Samoan was one of them. I think my dad found it more efficient if we spoke English quicker. Yeah, so here I am speaking English, you know, 1,000 times, and I asked my dad, why don't you teach us? And he says, well, you can learn now. I'm like, yeah, thanks, thanks, Dad. But yeah, like, you know, and this project really gives us the opportunity to dive into those, and you know, we're not trying to be Phil Bocos, but you know, we could be, but I feel like we have the right. We have the right to be a Phil Bocos. Well, in this context, because it's where we're from, it's who we are, it's our foundation, it's where we are, it's what grounds us, and so we're going all in. You go head first, and there's no better way, I reckon. Yeah.
Like it's the same for me too. Like. I was born in by my mom installed, like mostly my mom made sure we grew up with the like Samoan customs, and it's like it's like the how to like be hospitable, and it's like all those like things that you should know in that. But even now, there are things that I chose to ignore. And I'm like, now I'm like rushing back. It's like, what was that thing? And I was like, it's scary because like it's a very touchy subject, especially for like a lot of Samoans as well. They're very particular, and it's like, but I feel like when it comes to this kind of stuff, I feel like we have a right to rush in and stumble, and find our footing, because this is a new territory, not just for like us three, but like Samoans in general, like they're in Australia, you know what I mean? Because New Zealand, I know the Samoan culture in New Zealand and the arts is there's like Samoans have been there for generations, you know what I mean? But Samoans and like making art and especially theatre in Australia it's very new, and it's like especially the subjects that we're touching on.
Yeah,
it's very
Yeah, and as well as like it's very touchy, but at the same time, we have to acknowledge that, you know, we are Australian. We are here where we're at, you know. But like the show we're putting on is very heavily influenced by our point of views and the Samoa way.
I think, you know, so we talk about this a lot. We've been in really like intense development about this for quite a long time. And these boys have been, you know, working on it essentially since 2018 when they first made it. So you know, I hope you're with us. We jump around a lot. We're talking about, you know, when we're talking about Lele, but it is, you know, where it is, like Rex is saying, it's quite unapologetic in our exploration of what it is to be Samoan here in Australia, or what it is to be a part of the Pacific Islander diasporas here, the immigrant communities here, what it's like to live in between worlds, like, you know, have that Samoa, that Samoan culture, like the motherland, Samoa. And then also there's NZ, which for a lot of Samoans, like in my family, it's Samoa number 2. Like my partner, like they all go to NZ, grow up there, get educated there, and then a lot come to Australia. So there's a lot of, it's a very complex experience. And then coming here, either, you know, first gen, you've come here, second gen like me, my mum, Samoa, NZ, came here, I was born here. Second gen, third gen now, fourth gen now, all of that. Stephen Nicolazzo has a question from the live. Who do you seek out for the answers and specificity you need when you make these works as Australian Samoan artists? I think he's just, directly...
Answer the question.
Say, damn it! I'm trying to... Well, Stephen Nicolazzo. Yeah.
Hi, papi.
I go to my dad and my cousin, who like they're very well versed in customs and that. And I remember when we were developing this one, we relied heavily on your mum.
Yep.
Yeah. So just the elders around me and the people who I know can tell me, like, he's like, no, don't do that. That's stupid. And the people who can be like, it's like, yes, there's an exception. Because I remember when we were working on 2018 one, I was like, say the sao.
This is every conversation we have in the room.
Yeah.
If you think about...
I was sitting there with my dad, I was like, Dad, if there was a situation where the sao was like, if the sao says something, does the whole family have to abide by it? It was like, yeah. It's like, what if it was like really extreme? It was like, he's like, it doesn't matter. I was like, okay. So if someone was left to be dead, and for example, Dad, and I gave him and then he was like, that would never happen. I was like, yeah, but if it was.
This is my partner. That would never happen. I'm like, but imagine for a second.
If that happened.
What would he say?
What would you do? It was like, it would never happen. But if someone said that, is you know, then if that's how it says it, the family has the Bible. I was like, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
I love you.
That was just the casino, justification I needed. It's like I'll talk to them like, and then I was like, you reckon this is possible? It was like, and if it's possible to some degree, I was like, yeah,
You'll take
bring
it.
it back to the room, mate.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, yeah, I think elders is the best one to go with. Isn't it? Yeah, it's always elders. Or someone you know that's from the islands, or like has experienced it. The Ras-Samuel way. For you, it's your dad. For me, it's my parents and my auntie. But yeah, no, I felt like your mum was our mum and auntie. So
She was.
yeah, so she is.
Love you, Mum. She's not watching. She doesn't have Facebook, but I love her.
Love you.
I love you.
But yeah, no, yeah. But just want to riff on before, never Google it.
Never Google it.
Never Google it. Don't Google Translate. Don't Google Feel Poco. Your best to ask somebody.
Don't go up to your Samoan friend. It's like,
No.
Don't go up to your Samoan friend. It's like, tell me about your culture. Maybe just slip it in. It was like,
Tell me how to learn.
bring a 6-pack to his house. It's like, tell me about things. And then if it comes in the conversation, it's like, oh, about that.
I think that's the thing, right? Michael said it, Rex said it. It's like you speak to people that know you, and so you can ask questions. So it's like my mum knows me. I know my mum. She spent a lot of time teaching me. So I didn't grow up like in community, but my mum is very staunch for Ras-Samuel, and she's a minister and she's a Matai, and her father was a reverend, and so she spent a lot of time teaching me, and I spent a lot of time learning as I was growing up about the Ras-Samuel way. So I can ask questions that to somebody else would seem fiopoko, but she understands the spirit in which we're asking. And so we would, I was in, the reason my mum became such a part of the development was because I was in Sydney. I was stuck there during a lockdown. And yeah, it was just in that kind of way. It's obvious. You ask, who would know? My mum would know. So you ask someone to school, we would ask her and pick her brain and sit down and talk to her. And we'd get long lessons about what can be done, what can't be done, and do those things where we're like, but if you imagine all of these things are in place and then he says it, and she's like, the wife would never. She would never. We're like, but if she did, imagine, Mama, listen.
That's white.
But it's... But like Michael's saying, like it is about the thing about that is, and like Rex said before, it is about ownership. So it's really tricky. Like if you're not Samoan and you just want to know and learn, it's not as easy as just going and asking. Because that's not where like the boys were saying, we have the authority by being Samoan to be able to look into our identity and to be able to tell stories about our identity. Not to start making grand sweeping statements about the culture and about everybody's experience. But so when we go to our elders and we ask them for guidance and we say we want to learn more and know more, and they understand our artistic integrity, that we're not going to run off and make some fiopoko play, that we have those, then it sets those things in place. There are quite a few things that need to be done when you're working on a cultural piece to make sure that it is honouring the culture that you're working within. Like Rick said, though, it's a very we challenge as much as we celebrate. We very much go straight for what it means and what that experience means here, and the realities of what it's like for us. And it's not always easy. In fact, it's pretty tough a lot of the time.
But some of the times when your mom's like, oh, ask Michael. Michael knows. I was like, Michael doesn't know. That's why we give it to auntie.
Kelly doesn't know.
But I'm like, well, when she would say it, I was like, oh yeah, that sounds familiar. I'm like,
yes.
Maybe I do know.
In my Samoan bones, I remember.
Sorry, man, I forgot it.
But I think we talked a lot about that in development, though, being like, that point that you realize, even as an artist, that you are a leader or you're coming into an elder role. Like we talked about that because my mum would do shit. I'd be getting her to translate things, She's not a translator. She just speaks Samoan, and so those skills are very different to be translated. So I've been getting her to translate bits and pieces, and she'd be like, "This is what I think." And when she would translate, she would just speak in quick Samoan to me, and I'd try to transcribe it. So I'm like, and so that what 1 word, 2 words, she'd be just speaking in long strings. That's what, like this, and I'm trying to do my Samoan alphabet. Trying to do my Samoan alphabet in my head. And so then she'd be like, yeah, just ask Michael, make sure he checks this. I think back to Michael, Michael's like, I don't know, your mum would know. I mean, yeah. But you know, there's that comment, like it's a big push and pull, I think, as an artist when you are a person of color, and when you're doing a show, a work about your culture, there's a big push and pull being like, can I step into this space? Am I allowed to be here? I don't know if I should have said that. And I think that for me, it was a mad blessing working on it with you two, because we held a lot of space for each other in that room, and like, you know, just made sure that we kept each other in line, kept each other in check, but also helped each other. Yeah. You know. Yeah,
and what I'll add to that is that you know, like Chanella and I, like our Samoan's very weak, or
my Samoan doesn't exist.
There is none. There is none. I ain't got none.
I can say Buddy Popo.
But you know what Coco Lysery? But yeah, no, and like as you know, Samoan being our second language, you know, even though we can't speak the language, we still gave the culture its respect it deserves, you know, because, you know, I think the whole thing was that the culture's so lost, and like and like let's explore the loss of identity of culture, you know, of different generations, how it gets lost in each different generation that keeps going,
especially as immigrants. Yeah, it just feels like you can be very far away from your culture and from the motherland and from your identity, especially, and we talked about this a lot, especially when you don't have language. Like, it's the first thing when you see a Samoan. If I get recognized as being Samoan, it's very rare. If I'm not with my partner, if I'm not with... I remember the first time I was out in public with Rex, and we walked into a Samoan store, and the guy looked across at me and was like, "Hey, Sunga," and I was like, I started crying because I was with Rex, so he could see that I was kind of Samoan. Like, he saw my Samoan features.
You look Samoan as, bro. We were walking down the street, it's like,
just my
that's
big
Samoan.
bones. It's my pisupo. That's what it is.
Hey, Sunga!
What you want, Toko?
I was wrong. It's a phallop. No, hey. We love all Tongans here.
Hey, my kids are half.
Your kids are
half, eh?
Kids are half. We love them.
My wife is watching.
We love you. We love you, AJ. Well, I can't remember something. Rex?
Me. You know, exploring as well as exploring Fat Samoa Way and all of that. I want to shout out to Anganu'u 101 who ran programs in Melbourne. You know, to teach people about not the language but just the ways of Samoa. So like, you know, I referenced that booklet a lot. So thank you to them. But as well as exploring the Fat Samoa Way, we sort of explored the what's happening down here. Yeah, what's happening here with our people.
Yes.
Yeah? There we go.
The new ways.
The new ways. Go, do it.
It's not new, man. We've been on the street since knee high, brother. Knee high. JM 114 veteran.
Spit in my bar.
Oh, chulla.
Tell him I'm doing it swag. All love and respect to them.
Yeah, it's all love and respect. But yeah,
well, some respect.
I think it really kicked in for our production last year. Yeah, Salomone, rest in peace. I think that really kicked things off for me personally. Yeah, it really kicked things off of like, okay, we need to get our people together. You know, we need something in the community that's like strong and tough and like just, you know, something
draws us together.
Yeah, something that draws us together. That's not cliche, and it's something we all enjoy and sort of get a big message all out together. You know, But yeah, you know, the influences, you know, 2019, that's when like the drill rap kicked in, yeah? Yeah,
Drilla,
you love it,
drilla.
yeah? From your hometown, right?
Good man, County, man. 21 district, but
There's nothing bad against them, you know, nothing bad. But like, you know, it had its pros and it had its cons, you know, and just the way it affected our community really showed. Really showed.
Yeah. For me, because like, it's always been in our community though. Like, I feel like drill brought it to air, but it's always that criminal aspect of our community. It's make money by all means. You know what I mean? Like, it's that hustle and warrior mentality of I gotta get money, and whether it was like by all means, and like growing up as a kid, you either grow up and you're strong in the church, you're strong God, or you're lost. And when you're lost, it's very easy to be picked up by the wrong people. Or it was like all rugby, you know what I mean? Rugby and sports, God, or like the streets. And it's like growing up, we're big. Like as kids, it's like we stand out. And it's like you want someone on your side when you go into fisticuffs, you know what I mean? Because like even just walking down the street, I clear a path. I didn't notice it. I honestly didn't notice it until my girlfriend, like my partner, pointed it out. We walked to the city. It's like, and we got home and I was like, man, I love walking to the city with you. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, it's just everyone just clears away when you're walking in the city. Yeah, and I'm walking down the city, and it's like the next time I'm walking, I'm actively looking at it, and I'm like, holy shit, I have a presence that like will clear a room, clear a fucking freaking side path.
It was like some sort of hawk swooped in here.
Excuse my language, but yeah, we have presence.
Yeah.
And like on the streets, that counts for a lot. Like it takes a lot of presence to stand over people, and it's like to do stuff illegally. You need get on the ground, give me your money, sort of thing. You know what I mean? And it's very attractive to the wrong types of people.
Yeah.
If you're lost, it's like you'll be picked up. It's like, yo, here's the $50 for you just for the week or so. And it's like, they keep giving you money, and then all of a sudden it's like, so remember that $50? Yeah, just get down to the thing and just do this thing for me. And all of a sudden now you're on the live. Yep. It's as simple as that. But yeah, I feel like drill brought that to life. Like, was a platform for youngins to speak up on. And bring it to the surface, and now they're killing it. You know what I mean?
And much why I think, like, you know, and me and my brothers talked about this like a lot when, around 2019, 2018, fob drilling, like, so, you know, drill was big in the UK but originated in the US. And it, like, you know, if anybody who doesn't know, the big thing about drill is that there's a particular like speed and cadence to it, but the thing about drill is they're rapping about things they actually do. Yeah. So when they talk about it, you know, it's not like it's not for show. They talk about actual crime and stuff that they commit in their actual lives, right? Which is, me and my brothers talked about this a lot when it first like exploded in Australia for Pacific Islanders, when those Pacific Islander voices were drilling and coming out, because it was, much like NWA, like back in the day in the US, it's like it was so contentious and so hated by the mainstream, but everybody underground was like, this is what's been happening to us always. Yeah. Police are killing us on the streets and nobody is saying anything. So when NWA came out, it was this huge thing of being like the recognition of that. And I remember like the first time I heard 1-4, I got sent a link by my brother, and he was like, "You gotta listen to this." I was sitting in my car and I like pulled up to my my house. I was living in Melbourne by this time. I'm from from New South Wales. I remember like opening the link, sitting outside the front of my house, listening to this song, and I've never had such a visceral reaction to music in all my life. I instantly I got like full body goosebumps and I started crying. But like also it was a very dramatic emotional moment for me and myself in my car, because it's like there's this thing right about it's like those are the boys. That's what my brothers look like. Like those are the people that we like that we recognize, that I understand, that I see, talking about what actually happens. Yeah. But it's also terrifying because, it's like we don't really talk about that stuff. Like you know about the drills, you know about those boys, and when one of those of your elder brothers is bringing that money into the house and stuff like that, which happens a lot in our communities, right? Yeah. But it's very on the low. So to hear them so outright about it, being like, this is happening, was really scary, but also exciting.
Yeah, for me as well. I grew up in Brody in a time where it was violent, man. And you couldn't walk around on your ones. You needed you
by yourself is what that means.
Yeah, you couldn't walk around by yourself. You needed to be a part of again, or you needed to be backing. And Brody back then, it was crazy, and it encapsulated that time for me. And I was like, frick. It's like these kids, they're talking about their area, but it's bro, it felt like my area. Yeah. Where I grew up, it was crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, no. Totally relate. I grew up on the west side, Deer Park. There's D Block, as we know that. But yeah, and I think that the part that sort of stands out for me is when, 1-4 and the 21 district, they all talk about the police doing them wrong and all that stuff. But eventually, ego gets to us. And then it's it's like black on black crime. We start turning to each other, and it's that's when things are out of hand. Mm. It's out of hand because it's now our responsibility, and we are actually it's like we're killing each other. And it shouldn't be that way. Yeah. I mean, that's what that's the that was the main motive for me in this project, especially last year, 2021. We shouldn't be killing each other. We should be standing as a unit, with each other, as brown people, as in Australia, But yeah, that influence, I feel like that just gets a little bit out of hand.
I think 100%. And I think it's why drill rap, even it's not even a black and white thing. Even within the FOB community here, it's very contentious. There's not all FOBs are yeah, this is amazing. Not all FOBs are oh, this is horrible. It's very true. It's because in much that way, the reason I use that example of being outside my house and crying is because it was both of those things. I was I can't believe they're saying what it is, and also we all know that stuff like that becomes an aesthetic, it becomes a culture, it becomes something that you want to be, and it becomes something that young people do to try to live into that, who don't know anything about that, who don't, it's and so you get a lot of, it was very frightening in the way that I'm I can't believe they're saying this and this visibility is here, but also our young people who a lot of times can be lost between worlds, can be very young, very impressionable. I want them to see that, not know what they're listening to and hearing, which is this representation, this thing, and think, oh yeah, I want to be a driller. I want to have that. I want to have those chains. I want to have and it now is a bit of a joke. Certainly I don't know any. I don't know many FOBs who would openly be yeah, drill's the shiz. Because I don't want to swear on the live. I don't know many because it's
you listen to drill, man.
They're these young boys that are wearing Gucci and that. They're wearing all the expensive stuff, but didn't necessarily come up on the streets but are trying to look like they're a part of that culture, which has been happening to all sorts of Black and BIPOC cultures for a long time. That gets snatched and appropriated.
Everyone's wearing tins and bum banks now. It's funny as.
Just like this is the trendy, but
trendy.
like when I
throwing up signs and they don't know.
Signs.
It's like, what are you deaf? It's like, bro, you went to a private school, bro.
I see you on church on Sunday with your mum.
I see you taking a sacrament, brother. What is all this, guys? But no, it's funny as, man. But it's. I feel like Lele, the new Lele, has a lot of like what the old one didn't, and what it speaks to being a Samoan. Like, cause we grow up around like lower to middle class, like systems and that, and yeah, a lot of our family work in factories and that. Lower docile jobs and that, or you go to school where you need to be that persona, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I feel like this Lele is, I'm lost. It's waffling there.
No, I think, but like, yeah, it's like, it was definitely in the original, because when we developed Lele last year in 2021, developed it for the show that's happening this November. We looked at the original script that these guys had. They developed it and made it on the floor with the Footscray Edge, and then Penny, who was the lead artist and the director, she transcribed it. So there was a script for us to work from last year, and we went through that script, looked at the skeleton, unpacked it, reworked it, like fine-tooth comb throughout the whole year. That was supported by the lovely, lovely folks at Brimbank in the Bowery. Yeah. And we really appreciate their support. We're going to be a part of the Neighbourhood Festival at the Bowery in partnership with the Bowery. That's a little side note. But yes, yeah, and really, I remember the first day that we sat down to do that development, and Rex said what he was just saying before. He said that, what's going on in the community at the moment with drillers and with young people and gang activity and the death of a young boy that he knew, it was in the community. It was like this, we need to attend to this. Yeah. This is our responsibility as artists, as Samoan artists. If we're coming back to tell this story, we need to attend to this. I want to attend to this. We said, and we're collaborators. I remember that being on the first day and being like, because we're a part of the community. So it was on all of our minds, on all of our hearts. And, you can hear how passionate we are when we talk about it, but also, there's a lot of different feelings. And I think a lot of that really does come through in Lele. Like, we're the three people that reworked it, rewrote it. We're all in it. I should have said this. So in Lele now, Rex still is Creon. And he does also play the second son of Creon. So that fight the boys were talking about, that beginning fight between the two eldest brothers of Creon, the two eldest sons of Creon, still occurs. So he doubles right at the beginning to play Eteocles, who is the son that is honoured in his burial. Michael is playing Haman again, and also playing Polynices, Polly. Who is the eldest son and who is the estranged son and who is the son that is dishonoured and told to be left out for the dogs to eat. One of those quotes again. What a melee, man. And in this rendition of Lele, I'm playing Antigone, who is Haman's fiancée and the Fiopoko. The thing I was going to say earlier was this. The thing that I find so interesting about Lele and Lele Butterfly is that Antigone, when I was studying acting and stuff like that, Antigone is really lauded as this feminist play, it's this big thing, yeah? And I can see, you see why.
It's so relevant, isn't it? It's so relevant.
So relevant to all of us. But it, it's part of the big Western canon. Like, it's lauded as this feminist play, this woman who speaks out against the king and dares to do what is the right thing to do. That is how it is in the play. He says, do not bury him. Antigone says, that is against God's will. I will bury him. And what I find so interesting about Lele Butterfly and Lele is how we look at that. So one of the biggest things for me is that, being a Samoan woman, like reading that play, I'm like, that doesn't strike me as such. what I would call it. Am I allowed to say this on the live? I'll say it anyway, I don't care. What I would call that is a white feminist play. What I would call that is like a hot... blah. So it's like, there's just... you know. I think it's missing a lot of things. I think that, you know, when I have always seen Antigone made and applauded as this hugely feminist play, I'm like, okay.
It's woke.
It's woke.
It's woke.
And I think that we just kind of dive into the complexity of that, of what she does as being, you know, what would seem an innately for your book or act, what all the things that lead into that. I just think that, yeah, we delve into the... I
forgot.
I forgot who I am. I think it's... I think that I'm very proud of the way, which is like it's a real dirty word in Samoan culture to be proud. Like that means of yourself, yourself.
You're not allowed to be. You're not allowed to be proud of yourself.
But I'm very proud of the way that we explore that, like this as a feminist play, but perhaps not in the way that you might think is right, that you might expect. Yeah.
I know. I think we gave it the right light in that way because, oh my gosh, do we spoil the ending?
No, don't.
We don't spoil
you
the
can't.
ending. Okay.
But say what you need to say.
I mean, the ending originally ends in a way, but we've changed it. Oh my gosh, I can't do this without ruining the ending. But yeah, no. It's great because like the ending that we came up with. Yeah. Because if it did go with the original ending, right?
If you know Antigone.
Yeah, if you know Antigone, wink, wink. Yeah. I feel like then the spotlight.
No, it's kind of the same.
No, it's not, brother.
No, it's kind of the same. 'Cause everyone does.
It's the same. Like, but this is the thing. It's like we're very tricksy with our theatre making skills. It's like I think that the thrust of the thing still, I think you'll be satisfied with it being an adaptation. You'll be like, yeah, all those things happen. But there are a few things, and Rex is doing a very good job of trying not to spoil anything. There are a few things that we would just, in structure and in the story, that because it was our adaptation, we took a hold of and we're like, to tell the story in the way that we would like to present it, in the way that speaks to feminism in the way that we would like to speak to it, and not a white context.
Yes.
The way we would like to speak to culture and being migrants here. We took a hold of a few of the plot points and decided to do what we wanted to do with them.
Yeah, exactly.
No, because like in the original one, it seems like everything that happens afterwards is because of Antigone's bravery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the bravery of Antigone caused all of this to happen to it. And I feel like that doesn't come through like that in our one.
I think it's much more complex.
Yeah.
In ours.
Yeah.
I hope.
Everyone has their own, like...
You can't give away the mic, keep speaking.
Oh. Everyone has their own agency to why they did their thing, rather than it being this person's thing.
That's right. And I think the way that we directed it last year, I think it just honors every character. Yeah, and not just the feminist way. You know, like one person rules. You know. She saved the day.
But I think it's kind of, we looked at the intergenerational nature of our women in culture, and the strength of our women and the strength of our men, and we looked a lot at what it is like to grow up and come into yourself and your culture, and what it's like to be an individual who is very beholden to the collective and to the community, which I think is a very an experience we know much of as Samoans here. What are you looking for?
Time check.
Yeah, 7:10. We're about done. I was just about to hear. We're so in tune with each other that Michael was looking around too. We're about done. I just was going to ask if there's anything that you boys want to mention other than that about Lele, about its adaptation that we've made, about your characters, about...
Well, I mean, I would just say from a sound perspective, it gives me the chance to make some drilla music.
Drilla.
You know, and I think I've done all right. You know, I think I've done okay. But it gives me, as an artist. Well, I guess us, because we all got to write raps.
Yeah.
We all got to write raps and influence the rapper. You know, his meaning is a driller. You know, it's a driller. You know. Thank you, Yone.
Thank you, Yone.
Yeah. As a sounder, it just gives me the chance to, to explore that territory a bit more, and also, mixing it in with the Samoan, the Samoan music and
Pasifika sound, you know. If you
know,
you know.
But other than that, it's just one more exciting project because as time goes on, more things happen, and the more relevant we're trying to make this show. So, yeah.
I think what Rex is touching, one of the things that's most exciting to me about Lele, because I'm a big fan of Hamilton, and we all became entranced. Like, Hamilton's so good. But there is this huge musical and element to Lele. I think that they're like Rex. When we were in development, wrote several songs, like driller tracks. He wrote, the boys were writing raps for them. We wrote the music, composed it, made the track. Like, Lele is there's a score going through it, which I think is really exciting to me as a theatre piece. Like a really, really highly theatrical score where it goes from drill music to that classic Pasifika sound. Yeah. Goes to like spoken word, and the audience is kind of held abreast with the action by there's a lot of direct address narration in the style of these things, in the style of rap, in the style of spoken word, where the audience is kept abreast of the action by the people who it's affecting within the family. And I think that's, to me, one of the most exciting things about the structure of the play that we've made.
Which is crazy because it was unintentional.
Yes.
That, we've commented on how musically our community is. It was like, so thinking about it. We're chinnies, man.
Chinnies.
Nah, but because our community, there are a lot of different musics. We're a very musical people. Yeah. You come to our country. There's music on the buses, in the houses. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know where you ended it to me.
Sign off.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for Ellen with us while we just talk about Lele, while we talk about being artists and being Samoans. That's kind of what this conversation was. Where, like I've said a few times, Lele is going to be on in November, the tail end of November, as a part of the Neighbourhood Festival at the Bowery in St Albans. And if you look up Lele and the Bowery, you'll find a link to tickets. But you'll see a lot of stuff about that come out close to the date. Other things happening at Western Edge is that this weekend on Saturday?
This week.
Wyndham is that Distortion is opening, which is our Edge Ensembles show. So all three of the different edges, Wyndham, Footscray and St Albans, their community programs, which is where Lele began at one of those Edge Ensembles. Yeah. As one of those productions. Their big end of year show is happening. It's opening in Wyndham on Saturday at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
And then I reckon it's Footscray the weekend after, St Albans the weekend after. But come through, you'll definitely see us there. Michael's, are you a support on that?
Yeah, I'm support.
Still.
Yeah,
That's
summer support.
we're super excited about that. It's just a Western Edge thing. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Anything else to say, boys? Put all the
Veel vertellen van mannen, nee. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I've been Michael Law. She's been
Chanella Macri.
and he's been,
Rex Pelman.
and that's the show. So